The printed social media of the 21st century. For years, the newspaper industry has been asking how to survive in a digital world. Perhaps it should be asking a different question. What if the future of print is not found by becoming more digital, but by becoming more personal? For more than a century, newspapers operated under a remarkably successful model. Editors gathered information, organized it into sections, printed a single edition, and distributed it to an entire community. Every subscriber received essentially the same product. The model worked because information was scarce, distribution channels were limited, and newspapers occupied a privileged position as one of the primary gateways to knowledge. That world no longer exists. Today, information is everywhere. News travels instantly. Opinions circulate continuously. Videos, podcasts, newsletters, websites, social media platforms, search engines, and artificial intelligence systems compete relentlessly for attention. Information is no longer difficult to find. In fact, the opposite problem now exists. There is too much information. The challenge facing modern readers is not access. The challenge is relevance. Every day, millions of people spend hours filtering through content that has little connection to their interests, goals, problems, or aspirations. Most information enters their lives only to disappear moments later. Headlines are consumed and forgotten. Notifications are viewed and dismissed. Endless streams of content compete for attention without necessarily creating value. Ironically, while technology has made information abundant, it has also made relevance more valuable than ever. This reality may represent one of the greatest opportunities available to the printing industry. For decades, newspapers attempted to compete against digital media by becoming digital themselves. They built websites, they launched apps, they expanded social media operations, they pursued digital subscriptions. Yet each step often accelerated the migration away from the very product that once differentiated them: physical presence. Perhaps the objective was never to replace print. Perhaps the objective should have been to reinvent it. The future may belong to a completely different type of printed product. Not a traditional newspaper, not a magazine, not a catalogue, not a newsletter. A personalized information service built around reader interests. A form of printed social media. At first glance, the phrase sounds contradictory. Social media is associated with screens, algorithms, and digital interactions. Print is associated with paper, ink, and physical distribution. Yet the true power of social media was never technology. Its power was personalization. People do not spend hours scrolling because they love software. They scroll because the content reflects their interests. A traveler sees travel content. An investor sees investment content. A sports enthusiast sees sports content. A parent sees parenting content. A business owner sees entrepreneurship content. Each individual receives a different experience. The platform adapts to the user. Traditional newspapers rarely do. A retired investor, a young parent, a college student, and a restaurant owner all receive the same publication despite having dramatically different interests and information needs. As a result, large portions of every newspaper go unread. Entire sections are ignored. Advertising becomes inefficient. Readers become less engaged. Circulation declines. What if the future reversed that model? What if readers no longer subscribe to newspapers? What if they subscribe to interests? Imagine a simple onboarding process. A reader receives a question. What information would you like delivered to your home? Not what political party do you support? Not what ideology do you follow? Not what news source do you trust? Simply what interests you? Travel, investments, healthcare, retirement, local events, sports, real estate, restaurants, technology, education, faith, business, gardening, home improvement, arts, entertainment, community news, family activities. The reader selects the topics that matter most. The publication begins taking shape immediately. Instead of receiving a generic newspaper, the reader receives a customized information bulletin built around those interests. The publication becomes personal, not because an algorithm decided what matters, because the reader did. Consider a retired couple approaching one of the most important transitions of their lives. Their interests include retirement planning, healthcare, travel, investments, local events, and real estate. Every Tuesday, a customized bulletin arrives. Inside, they find retirement strategies, healthcare resources, Medicare, travel opportunities, cruise reviews, local events, investment insights, housing trends, and interviews with specialists relevant to their stage of life. For the first time, nearly every page matters. The publication becomes useful. Now imagine a completely different household. A young family with 2 children. Their priorities revolve around schools, youth activities, weekend events, family dining, educational opportunities, local sports, and community programs. Their Friday bulletin contains school calendars, upcoming events, educational resources, family activities, restaurant recommendations, sports schedules, summer camp opportunities, and local attractions. Again, the publication feels relevant because it reflects the realities of their lives. Neither household receives exactly the same publication, yet both are served by the same printing organization. The difference is that the product is no longer designed around editorial departments. It is designed around reader communities. This concept opens the door to entirely new publishing categories. Imagine a travel bulletin, not simply a collection of travel stories, a complete planning environment, destination reviews, cruise comparisons, airline promotions, hotel recommendations, travel editor insights, local travel agency offers, packing guides, transportation advice, restaurant recommendations, virtual destination tours accessible through QR portals. A family planning a vacation may keep that bulletin on their kitchen table for weeks. They discuss it, highlight sections, compare options, share it, return to it repeatedly. The publication becomes part of the decision-making process. Now imagine a retirement bulletin. Social security strategies, healthcare planning, investment insights, retirement communities, volunteer opportunities, travel ideas, lifestyle articles, estate planning, interviews with retirees, local programs and resources. The publication becomes a guide rather than a newspaper, a trusted companion during an important life transition. Or consider a real estate bulletin, neighborhood profiles, market analysis, mortgage trends, property opportunities, builder promotions, renovation ideas, commercial properties, local developments, investment opportunities. The publication becomes a marketplace of information where buyers, sellers, investors, and professionals interact around a common interest. The possibilities continue expanding. A small business bulletin, a healthcare bulletin, an education bulletin, a community bulletin, a weekend activities bulletin, a local dining bulletin, an investor bulletin, a faith and inspiration bulletin. Each one serves a different community. Each one attracts specialized advertisers. Each one creates value through relevance. This also transforms the role of editors. Historically, editors asked a simple question: what happened today? The future editor may ask something far more powerful. What information helps this community make better decisions? The travel editor helps readers travel smarter. The investment editor helps readers invest more effectively. The retirement editor helps readers prepare for the future. The community editor helps readers engage locally. The publication evolves from reporting information to organizing useful information. That distinction may become one of the defining characteristics of future publishing. Advertising changes as well. For decades, newspaper advertising relied upon broad audience assumptions. A travel company advertised in a general newspaper, hoping someone might be planning a trip. A financial advisor hoped someone might be considering retirement. A realtor hoped someone might be searching for a new home. The process often involved significant waste. The printed social media model changes the equation entirely. Readers voluntarily identify their interests. Travel advertisers reach travel readers. Investment firms reach investment readers. Healthcare providers reach healthcare readers. Local restaurants reach food enthusiasts. The relationship becomes more efficient, more relevant, and more valuable for everyone involved. Even more important, this occurs without surveillance, without cookies, without behavioral tracking, without selling personal data. The reader simply chooses the communities they wish to join. Interest becomes the organizing principle. The distribution model evolves as well. Traditional newspapers were produced first and distributed second. Future information products may reverse that sequence. Demand comes first. Readers select interests. Editors create content modules. Advertisers choose communities. The production system assembles personalized editions. Distribution follows. One household may receive a travel and retirement bulletin every Tuesday. Another may receive a local events and family activities edition every Friday. A third may receive a monthly investment report. Frequency becomes flexible. Content becomes relevant. Circulation becomes demand-driven. This is where on-demand printing becomes transformative. Instead of printing thousands of identical products, publishers create libraries of content modules that can be assembled in countless combinations. Travel, investments, healthcare, real estate, education, business, community events, sports, entertainment, faith, lifestyle, technology. The final publication becomes unique to the recipient, not because every article is personalized, because every edition reflects the interests of the reader. The result is something the newspaper industry has struggled to achieve for years, a reason to return to print. Not because print competes with digital, but because print offers something digital often cannot. Presence. A printed publication remains visible. It sits on a table. It waits on a desk. It travels through a household. It attracts attention repeatedly. A digital post may disappear in seconds. A printed publication may remain relevant for days, weeks, or even months. That visibility creates value. That value creates demand. And demand creates circulation. The future of print may not depend on convincing people to read newspapers again. It may depend on creating a new category entirely, a category where readers build their own publication, where editors curate communities rather than sections, where advertisers reach interest-based audiences, where digital strengthens physical communication, where circulation is driven by relevance rather than habit. A category that combines the personalization of social media with the trust, permanence, and visibility of print. The newspaper industry has spent decades trying to save the products of the past. The larger opportunity may be creating the products of the future. Because people do not necessarily want more news. They want information that helps them make decisions. Information that helps them solve problems. Information that helps them discover opportunities. Information that helps them improve their lives. When a publication consistently delivers that value, it stops behaving like a newspaper. It becomes something far more important. A personalized information service, a network of printed communities, a reader-driven communication platform. The printed social media of the 21st century. And it may represent one of the most important opportunities for rebuilding circulation, restoring relevance, and redefining the future of print. The printed social media of the 21st century. For years, the newspaper industry has been asking how to survive in a digital world. Perhaps it should be asking a different question. What if the future of print is not found by becoming more digital, but by becoming more personal? For more than a century,